everyone, and welcome to another conversation with the authors of The Butterfly Effect. In fact, right now, I have just one of the beautiful authors with me, Ritu Chopra, who is joining us. But before I introduce you or let you speak, I'd just love to set the scene for this book as we are launching it around the time of the International Women's Day. So I'm going to read just a little bit about what the Butterfly Effect is about, because it's Hill House Publishing's first book with a lead author, Oluneye Oluwole, who has really created the concept for this book and has brought together 20 incredibly diverse women from all around the world, and is here to share stories where you will find wings of resilience, faith, grit, hope, purpose, and so much more, all gently fluttering with the potential to create a force of nature which reverberates across the world. So that is our intention, to really sharing the diverse stories of women's hardship, women's resilience, women's visions for a better future for generations to come. And by sharing their stories, our hope and inspiration, guidance, or desire and intention is to inspire you, the listener, the reader, to firstly understand that you are not alone, that whatever's happened in your life for you is something that is just part of who you are, and that's making you who you are, so that you can make a greater contribution in the world. And sometimes it's the little things that make the big impact, just as in this story, this metaphor of the butterfly effect. So Ritu, I'd love for you to share with us where you're joining us from and how you are spreading your butterfly wings in the world.
Well, thank you, Crystal. I want to acknowledge Olu. She has been such a phenomenal force behind it. So congratulations to you, Olu, your teams, as well as all the authors. And happy International Women's Day to all the listeners and the women out there. So I am based in New Jersey, USA, and professionally I have been in technology space in corporate IT with Fortune 500 companies over almost 2.5 decades. And it had been an outstanding experience, but it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. So you may have heard from many people, you get to a stage that you have your calling. You want to, have things on your bucket list or have things that you want to do when you grow up. So I found myself at the crossroads. I have been working side by side on mostly personal empowerment, not only as my own, but also very actively involved mentoring younger women, professional women. This opportunity, as it came to me, I find that, as we say, butterfly effect. I look at it. Uh, we have our own perspective and angles on those. The transformation, as we say that butterfly flutters the wings, the impact is across the oceans. Um, I think if we take that analogy or take that the transformation, the butterfly stages of the butterfly, and going out, spreading its wings in out in the world, we women have our story in so many similar ways as nurturers and givers of life. Carrying a life, nurturing inside our own bodies and giving them life, and then see them grow and expand their wings and their reach and go out in the world. I think that's very empowering. And to me, as a accomplished in many ways, not only just my corporate career as a award-winning documentarian and other as a founder of a nonprofit, that I had um, come across enormous number of women at a different stage, and I have seen their journey, good and a bad and everything in between. So it's most important part that I see our journey as women is just not limited to our own family or the work we do. um, it's generational. Its impact is generational because we have the power. Women are at the center of the family. Women are the center of the stage, so to speak, but we don't know our power. Our voices are suppressed. We are pushed into doing certain things, and we expand ourselves at the same time. So that was the interesting dynamics that I always see. Doesn't matter which culture I speak to, people, women, where they come from, whatever their professional qualifications are, we share so much in many ways. The I don't want to take it into the negative side of it, but I see that challenge is that majority of the women, it's, despite their accomplishment, they don't know their power.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, women, and as women, we often, unless we can do something 100% correct, we don't do it. Like there's a tendency to not do it at all. And I was just in another call and we were talking about this lack of self-worth in our brilliance, in who we are, and that, often the world can reflect it back to us so much and we still don't fully believe it and see it. And so I love what you're sharing around, yeah, the women don't fully believe in their power. And so to hear these really amazing stories from you and all of the other women in this book that sharing their challenges but also their incredible breakthroughs, I really hope is an inspiration to everyone listening to say, well, if they can do it, so can I.
Yes, and
So
I think
welcome, actually, hang on. We'll welcome Susanna in a moment to come and join us. She's in the way in the backstage, so to speak. We'll bring you on and in a moment. So yes, go ahead, Ritu.
so. If with that said, I think that we don't need to have the aggressive path to show our power. It's just that we know our power
Yes, I
and we
like
acknowledge ourselves is good enough. We don't need acknowledgement from anyone else. We don't need to go. I personally say I don't need a certification for something which I'm capable of doing, but acknowledging to myself that I'm capable of this, that the level of the confidence is very important. And then I see that, Crystal, and I would say that again and again, for a mother to raise kids, mother is closer to kids than fathers are. Not that fathers don't care, but father role is mostly outside the house in most of the cultures, in most of the families, right? So mother, as they were closer to children, there is much more bonding there. And if mother is confident, a confident woman raises a confident child.
yeah,
To me,
absolutely.
I think that is more important for women to know and acknowledge themselves and then have that kind of charisma that it reflects, and their children follow that because they're copying mom and dad anyway without us telling. They copy that behavior, they adopt that behavior. And if they see one of the parent to be weak, and I think they develop their own sort of perception about that, and it could be positive or not positive. I have no authority to speak on that, but I think women to shine their own light, to bring their own confidence into the world, as you mentioned, the butterfly effect, that is that we are creating that, the givers of life, as we create a life and transform that life to expand their wings, have that kind of charisma and power.
I like that. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And I am bringing Susanna to the conversation now. Welcome. You've heard what we were just talking about. I'd love you to share where you're calling, where you're joining us from, and what you're doing in the world, how you are spreading your wings. And before you do, we're going to add Janice to the stream as well. Welcome. You've made it. I'm so happy.
I made it. Thank you.
Yay, fantastic. So, yes, Susanna, please share with us where you're from and how you're spreading your wings in the world.
I am from California. Right now, I am speaking from California. I am actually originally from India, from southern part of India, Tamil Nadu, and I have been here in the country for almost 27 years now. And I visited only last month back to India, and it was a life-changing experience for me to go back after so many years. So I missed most of the launch events and activities, but I'm so happy to be here. Um, the way I am spreading my wings is that I am mostly trying to bring awareness about ethical uses of technology, especially in the field of AI. And I'm trying to make sure that it is inclusive and it includes every one of us, all of us who are, of different colors and, different languages and different cultures. So that we are also included in the technology that is being currently developed in Silicon Valley and spread to almost all over the world. So that's my main goal. I am an AI ethics researcher and inclusive AI researcher, and I teach inclusive AI master classes. And I just wanted to share my story of how I came about on this journey. And that's the story that I have written in the book. And I'm looking forward to reading all of your stories. I just really cannot wait to read all of them. So amazing to be part of this journey.
Thank you for sharing that. Janice, where are you joining us from and how are you spreading your wings in the world?
I am in Little Rock, Arkansas, in one of the smaller states here in the US. But I grew up in the Southeast, which is agricultural. I grew up on a farm with my parents, and I'm a writer. I've been a writer for the last 22 years, and before that, I worked for government and I was a newspaper publisher. So writing and communication has been pretty much my life. Um, but I also love working with children. That is my other passion, literacy and children, especially girls, helping them discover their voices and raise their voices for good. So I have a nonprofit that we go out and work with uh, young people and as well as small communities to work to create villages for the children because they need that nurturing, not just from parents sometimes, but they need it from other parts of the community. So one of the things that my nonprofit, Celebrate Maya Project, one of the things we do is to try to create villages and to help youth through literacy projects and arts and poetry and things like that.
Such important work. That's really beautiful. Thank you. So let's move on to your chapters. What are you sharing in your chapters? What is your intention for the reader reading our book, this beautiful butterfly effect? What is your intention for the reader? Ritu, let's start with you again. Let's unmute. I feel like you've already shared quite a bit in the beginning about, the mothers and being confident and charismatic. So maybe just keep it quite short in
Uh,
what that intention is.
yes, the chapter is my journey, rugged path. So, um, as I say that in my chapter, that every aspect of my journey, and at every turn, there were tremendous hurdles. And as I moved through the curvy paths, and there would be just a little light to see path ahead of me, um, my confidence and my desire to be uh, able to contribute, and my own ambition, and along with a sense of humor, I was able to see in those darkness the shiny moments where I would see this opportunity and I embraced them. And I, as I shared, uh, being a techie, I have the award-winning documentaries on, and then forming a nonprofit, having a TV show, writing books, and raising children as a single parent. So all this just didn't happen. Nothing was handed to me. I had to have that courage and see that opportunity, embrace it, and do something with it. So along the way, all of that did accumulate. So my intention for the reader is that life happens. There's going to be that we're not going to have everything that we want in life. Life has its own plan, but we need to be able to seek out. We need to believe in ourselves and have that sense of self-worth, and go out in the world and deal with what's in front of us. And as mothers, as being those nurturers, we need to nurture ourselves as well. And that's my intentions for the reader, is that life is going to be what it's going to be, but we need to be bigger than life.
Thank you for sharing that. Susanna, what about your intention for the reader?
My intention for the reader is that they should not feel limited by what society lays out in front of them. I mean, the society is limited in so many ways by the patriarchal, bondages that we all grow up with, and by the cultural bondages. But apart from that, you can lay out your own options, you can lay out your own milestones, you can deconstruct the constructs by which you are asked to grow up, by which you are asked to define your path. So, my hope is that after reading my story, the stories of all the other women here, that people will be encouraged to feel free to seek new horizons in their life.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Janice.
I think I'm thinking that people who read the book will come away from it knowing that life is all about evolution. That where you are today does not necessarily mean you'll always be there. And I speak from personal experience, but also from what I've seen in life, especially young people. If young women read the book, I want them to come away saying, I was very depressed, or I was very hopeless, feeling hopeless because of where I am in life. But now I see all these women, these amazing women who may have been at this point once in their lives, they have evolved from that. So life is ever evolving. And I really want young readers to leave the book thinking, I have a ways to go. I'm not where I'm going to be. I'm going to keep moving, keep evolving, and who knows what I'll become. Um, I try to stress that whenever I talk to young people because I call myself a living miracle. I know it can happen with anybody. Wherever you start out does not mean that's where you will always be.
That is so true. I think we've just heard a blink. I thought somebody else was joining us. It's just the blink accentuating your message that, yeah, where you started is not where you'll always be, or where you are right now doesn't mean that that's where you'll always be. And on the way to going where you want to go, things often get worse before they get better,
Yeah.
because we're flushing out. I see this in my own life as well as in other people's lives, that when we're in this almost like in a numbness, in an amnesia, at first. We don't know what we're in until there is something that happens in life that wakes us up to what we've been in. And then we realize, and then it all comes to the surface. And so on the surface, it seems to get worse. But what is actually happening? Things are moving out and through so that we can come to this place, Janice, that you were talking about, where all of you really, where we are creating our own reality. And I think that is the gift of this book. And the other thing that I really deeply appreciate about all of the contributors in this book is the diversity of women, of experiences, of cultures. And so just by reading this book gives it kind of really expands our world, our horizon, our own experience of the world, and puts it into context so that we can see our story in the context of, in this case, 20 women's stories, and realize firstly, we're not alone. If they can do it, so can I. And there is a way through this. And yeah, there is a way through this. So I'm going to just open it up. We have a couple of moments to just share something else that anybody here would like to share in response to this, or adding on to that as a motivational message for anybody listening.
Sure, I can go. I think we are at a stage that, given our past generations, the baby boomers, the millennials, and the younger Gen Zers that we see, there's a stark difference. So if I look at my mom's and my grandmother's generation, there was difference, but not as stark. And between my mom and mine and my daughter's generation, it's huge. But then we are seeing in younger generations uh, coming into the world uh, is totally different for us as parents or grandparents to adapt to. That's where our role becomes more critical. We need to be more aware of our surroundings and how the world around us changing. As Susanna has been talking about artificial intelligence, as a techie, being very interested in artificial intelligence myself in the topics. So I see how it's changing the lives of our generation, a younger generation. It would be to our best interest to understand. We don't have to become expert, just to be able to understand enough that how this changing world of the technology is going to impact the rest of our lives.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Janice, you had something that you were going to say as well.
Yes, I was. And I'm so jealous because you guys are techies and I am completely non-techie. But I am learning. At my age, I am learning. But what I was going to say is how important writing can be for women. Whether you're a writer or not, if that's not your vocation, that's okay. It is such a good way of putting things down and leaving them and possibly coming back. But it's a way of sharing, it's a way of shedding, it's a way of it's sort of kind of magical in how you can use it to remember things, but also to get rid of things. So when I just really believe there's something magical about putting things down on paper. And I've been writing a long time, but every time I start on some new project, I feel like I have reached another height. I've done something else that has been important for my soul and my spirit. So I think I would encourage women, no matter where you are, no matter what your life is, to use writing as a tool to help us become better, to help us know ourselves better, to possibly get rid of some things that we carry with us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I remember one of my previous mentors was saying the mind is not meant to be a storage device. So when when we're holding everything in our mind, trying to process what's going on, it's so much easier to just allow it to do a verbal diarrhea and put it all on the page. And it doesn't have to be the world's greatest literature. In fact, it's more authentic if we're just writing for the sake of writing it all out, no matter what it sounds like, and just allowing us to empty. And I loved this shedding that you're talking about. And then it's therapeutic, it's transformative, it's expansive. And then once all of that initial stuff is out, then the clarity comes, right? Because we're then open and empty to receive more of our higher wisdom, to bring that in. So thank you so much for bringing that in, Janice. So I want to encourage everyone to purchase our book. It is already a #1 bestseller in Australia, and we are now open in the rest of the world. So please do support these amazing women. Get inspired by their stories, expand your horizons. The link to get the book is right here on the screen right now. We'd love your support. We'd love to inspire you. And thank you so much to the three of you for coming on and sharing your wisdom in a deeper way with the audience right now, but also in this book. And I know that it really truly is, or has the potential to create the butterfly effect. So thank you, everyone.